Okay, so this is a third poem. So the title is Just for a Time. Okay, so here from the title you can see the which the idea, the thought this title is giving us, that here, like, it is showing something. The poet, she is uh, recalling something, or she is remembering something, or she is missing something. So for our time, here we are going to see, like, what she is, uh, she has, like, her thoughts we are going to read in the poem, but from the title we can know, like, she is in kind of a kind of remembrance, the situation of remembrance, like she is remembering something. So like, here, one thing we can, like, or her love or something, which is she has, you know lost, or first love, the one that got away. Okay, but now she's not having that someone whom she's remembering. Now that person is not with her anymore. So, and then we are going to see in the very first stanza, oh, how you used to walk, with that insouciant smile. I like to hear you talk, and your style please me for a while. So here you can see there is a kind of, you can see the rhyme in the lines, and there is a kind of, a kind of rhyming pattern in the first stanza. This thing I'm also going to explain you further. But here from the very first line, like, when she is using the past tense, from this thing we can conclude, we can assume that she's talking in past tense. So she wants to tell us that, the person whom she is remembering now, he or she, whatever, that can be. So he or she is not, with her anymore. So then, but she is recalling, her, his or her style, the way he or she, used to walk, used to smile and talk, and her every style. So she is just giving her every way, the way he used to do these all things. Okay, and then at the very last line, like, please me for a while. So she wants to say, like, these all things, whatever the time they passed together, so that time was for just for a while. Okay, so here she just want to say, like her first love and infatuation doesn't last forever. So that love uh, is for a while. Okay, then, and this thing, when she's saying it was for a while, so this thing we can know from the very title, just for a time, it was for a short period of time. And then, uh, you were my early love, you were the day breaking in a spring, you were the image of everything that caused me to sing. Here in these lines, from here, like, he was her world and he made her happy. So here, there is male gender, but we are, really not sure that whether she is talking someone who, like, who is male or female, or, from these lines we cannot conclude, like, he's male, or, it is male or female. So here we cannot surely say this thing. So, but this is someone whom she is recalling. So this can be anyone, okay, any male or female. And then, I don't like reminiscing. Uh, okay, so she's saying, I don't like, to recall the past. From the line, she's saying, here we saw, like, she is, recalling everything, her past time with that person. But here she's saying, I don't like reminiscing. Um, Nostalgia is not my forte. Okay. So, and then she's saying, I don't spill tears on yesterday's years. So now she's saying, I don't, want to spend my time or, want to spend my energies on what it has, gone. So, and then, but honesty makes me say, you were a precious pearl. Okay, again she's saying, but uh, I'm just saying these all things, I'm just recalling these all things because that someone, that person, he or she, it was just like pearl for her. One thing, she doesn't like to recall these all things. She doesn't want to give a lot of time to these all things, her past. But another thing, she's saying that she is just, recalling these all things because that was something so much precious for her. And then, how I love to see you shine. Okay, you were the perfect girl. Now, here from the word girl, we can assume like the person can be any female gender, but here you can take it in two ways. It can be like she is recalling her own past, uh, she everything at the moment she is recalling, or she's talking about herself, her past, or she is talking about someone, any girl from this world, especially like you were the perfect girl, um, and you were mine. Okay, and then at the very end she repeats these all things for a time, for a time, just for a time. So from this repetition we can know, like, this was for a very short period of time, uh, and now it that everything is past. Okay, and so this is how, you know and she doesn't mourn past. Okay, from these lines, whatever I have already told you, so she doesn't mourn the past or her loss of love, but cherishes what they had together and thinks of it with happiness. Okay, one thing she's saying, like, she don't want to waste her time, or she don't want to spend much of her time in her past, but again, she is recalling someone who was very much precious. So that's why she is using these all, she is giving her time to that thing. Okay, now Just for a Time by Maya Angelou. It is a kind of simple poem that looks back on our relationship that used to be important to the speaker. Okay, and by the way, from this poem, in this poem, we cannot say, like, we're not sure that the speaker uh, is, the author of this poem is Maya Angelou herself. We are not sure in this, but as we were sure in Still I Rise, because there were different, things which were directly pointing towards her. But here we cannot surely say that like Maya Angelou is the speaker of this poem. But we are just assuming, because that is the part of her poetry collection. And then Central Idea. This is a highly relatable poem that speaks about how it's possible to remember the past without getting caught up in the emotions it might evoke. Okay, so here there are two things. One thing, like, the speaker, here there are two things, like how it's possible to remember the past. At one point, she is remembering her past, but another thing is that without getting caught up in the emotions it might evoke. Okay, then like here we can see the poem in brief. The lines of this poem discuss nostalgia and how it's important not to dwell on the past while also spending some time dwelling on the past. The speaker is able to remember and appreciate a past relationship without being overly emotional about it or feeling like they want to be transported into the past, right? Nostalgia, it's something when refers to a need or longing for the past. are, that can be anything that is no longer accessible due to the passage of time. Okay, when you are spending your time, when you are recalling the past. And speaker, it's it's a kind of, it can refer to, it can point to towards anyone who is, it can be the poet, or it can be any imagined character, or anything, any creature or any object, the speaker. Okay. Here we assume that the speaker is Angelou, but we are not sure about it. So, and then summary. Just for a Time by Maya Angelou is a sweet poem that discusses nostalgia and a relationship. In the first part of this poem, the speaker recalls the charm of a former lover. This person had a distinctive style and engaged her in a conversation easily. The poet goes on to say that it's important not to dwell on the past. There is a degree of nostalgia that's not healthy. Okay. And then, you remember, like, we saw, like, she herself used the words like she doesn't like that thing. The poem ends with the repetition of the phrase "for a time." At the end, we saw, like, there were three lines of this phrase. This emphasizes how fleeting the entire relationship was and how she knows that it was not meant to last forever. Okay, it was just for a short period of time. And then structure and form. Just for a Time by Maya Angelou is a three stanza poem. The first and second stanzas rhyme in a pattern of A B A B B. Okay, and this we are going to see uh, in the lines we have. So again, I'm going to show you. And the third, which is longer, rhymes in the pattern of. So it has there's not a kind of not a particular pattern, not a specific pattern is there, but again we can see if we want to go into detail, so we will find like this pattern here in the third stanza, that is A B C C, then B. Okay, I'm just going to show you, like here, here you can see, like, this is in the very last third stanza. The rhyming pattern is AB. So here you can see this is the word reminiscing and then forte. These both are two different words, and then you can see CC there. That in here it's stairs and years. So this is a kind of same word. So and then B and D. Okay, so then here you can see in the fifth line, this word is again showing us, giving us the rhyming pattern of this B, forte and say. Okay, and then again there's D. Okay, and then after D, there is E. Pearl and shine, there isn't any kind of connection in them, no any rhyming pattern. But then after pearl and this girl. Okay, so these both are DD, and then again this shine and mine. These both are following the same rhyming pattern, that is E, and then at the end, last, these three lines are showing us another pattern, and we are calling it FF. Okay, so for a time. So this word is giving us the same rhyming pattern here. So that is how we can say, like, this is the rhyming pattern of the last stanza. The poet uses perfect and exact rhymes in these lines. Now, what are the perfect? You can call it the synonyms, like perfect and exact rhymes. And what is the exact rhyme? Here you can see the exact rhyme is a literary device that is used in poetry. It occurs where the writer uses the same stressed vowels and consonant sounds. Okay, and this the example of exact rhyme you can see in the very last three lines, when the poet is using the word time for for three times. Okay, so that is giving us the sense of exact rhyme. So exact rhyme is what it gives us the same stressed vowel as well as consonant sounds. Okay, and these include the repetition. This is what I'm telling you. Like the exact rhyme, the example of exact rhyme is the repetition of time 3 times in the final stanza. This is example of apostrophe. This is another, you can call it a literary device. Now, apostrophe is repetition of the same word or phrase at the end of multiple clauses or sentences. Okay, it is repetition of the same word or phrase at the end of multiple clauses or sentences, as we have seen here in the last 3 lines. And then there are the literary devices. So here, in this poem, the poet makes use of a few different literary devices. For example, anaphora. This occurs when the poet repeats the same words or phrase multiple times at the beginning of lines. For example, for starts 2 lines at the end of the poem. Okay, so at the end of the poem, we saw the use of for. It was repeating for a time, for a time. Okay, so this is called the anaphora. When the same word is coming at the beginning of the lines. So here again you can see the exact definition of it. Like anaphora is the repetition of a word, a phrase at the beginning of multiple lines. Okay, it comes at the beginning of multiple lines, usually in succession. So here we saw the use of this word for. Okay, then is enjambment. So this can be seen when a poet cuts off a line without before its natural stopping point. For example, the transition between lines 1 and 2 of stanza 1. Okay, stanza 1. Transition between line 1 and 2. So we are going to see this is line 1 and line 2. So here we can call like there is these are the example of enjambment. um okay, like here the transition between lines 1 and 2 of stanza 1 as well as lines 1 and 2 of stanza 2. Okay, these two are the examples of enjambment. When the line cuts off before its natural stopping point. Here you can see, oh, how you used to walk with that insouciant smile. Okay, so here we can see like we can feel like this is the completion of the line. Here we can give the full stop after smile, but uh, you know these both lines are not coming in one line. There is you know these are two separate lines. So this is how we call it enjambment. There's no kind of natural stopping point here, but the poet is going on another line to complete that sentence, to complete that sense. Okay, done. Okay, so another thing is here apostrophe. This is also a literary device. Throughout this poem, the speaker addresses a lover. It seems likely that while the lines are addressed to this person, they aren't actively listening. Okay, so what is anaphora? Anaphora, sorry, I'm sorry, it's apostrophe. So what is apostrophe? Apostrophe is something, a character. You can see here. This is the apostrophe. Like character speaker addresses someone who is absent. Okay, this thing shows the anaphora, apostrophe. Okay, so apostrophe throughout this poem, the speaker addresses a lover, and it seems likely that or while the lines are addressed to this person, they aren't actively listening. This makes the poem an example of an apostrophe. And then, so now we are going to see one by one, or how you used to walk without that insouciant smile. I like to hear you talk, and you're a star. Please me for a while. Okay. So now here you can see the rhyming pattern. There is a B and then ABB. Rhyming pattern of it is AB, walk and smile. These both are a kind of different sounds, but then you can see talk. So walk and talk, they both are giving us same sound. So here you can see the rhyming pattern A, B, and then A. So A, B, A, and then B, B. So smile, style, while. Okay, this is the rhyming pattern in the first stanza. Okay, and then just kind of vocab for you. The word insouciant. This is something nonchalant, or the person, you can call it who is unconcerned, the person who is unconcerned, the person who shows lack of concern, right? And then okay, and then I've already told you the first two lines are the example of enjambment. Then here, so now we are going to just analyze and explain it in detail. Like in the first stanza of this poem, the speaker spends the lines reminiscing on a person they used to know. The speaker loved this person deeply, but their relationship, whatever it was over. This doesn't mean that they are unwilling to think about it and remember the good times. The speaker remembers that person's smile and how they like to listen to how you talk. They also appreciated this person's style. All of this pleased the speaker for a while, but this time has passed. Okay, and the lines here are easy to read and understand, and while they discuss emotion, they don't read a particularly emotional. Okay, they don't read as particularly emotional. This is seen to the clearest in the final line of this stanza when the speaker says quite flippantly that these features of the listener please the speaker for a while. Okay, that everything was for a short period of time, but weren't so pleasing that they feel devoted to this person. Okay, so from here, something special, something important was there in her past. The thing which she's remembering, but again she's saying like she cannot give her most of her present. She cannot give her present to that thing. Now stanza two. You were my early love, new as a day breaking in spring. You were the image of everything that caused me to sing. This is the rhyming pattern. Again, same rhyming pattern. Like this is A B and then A B B. Okay. These both first and second stanza have the same rhyming pattern. And then so continuing on in the same way, the speaker indicated that the love they shared was an early love, as if it was a relationship early on in her life. Love for her at that time was new as the day breaking in spring. Okay, and and it was just something. How was it? From these lines, we can understand like it was for her as a uh, it was as new as a day breaking in a spring, right? So here, new as a day breaking in a spring. Use of simile here. Okay. It was brilliant, bright, and simple in a way is memorable to this day. Okay. The speaker also indicates that you were the image of everything that caused me to sing. This is a lovely metaphor and also one that fits right into the theme of a strong but a fleeting relationship. Fleeting relationship is a relationship. Fleeting is something which is for a short period of time. Okay, spring is beautiful while it's happening, but before you know it, it's over. Okay, this person is no longer everything that caused her to spring. but she can look back on the relationship or on the spring season to continue the metaphor. Okay, then the third stanza. This is how I've highlighted it in a rhyming pattern, as I told you. So the rhyming pattern was like, A and then B and then C. So this is C, this is C, and this is B, this is again B, and then D, E, D, and then again E, and then F, 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 F. Okay, so I've highlighted it uh, in order to, make you understand the rhyming pattern of this last stanza. I don't like reminiscing. Nostalgia is not my forte. Okay, I don't spill tears on yesterday's years, but honesty makes me say, you were a precious ball. How I love to see you shine. You were the perfect girl, and you were mine for a time, just for a time. Okay, now here, like in the final stanza, the speaker says that even though they are doing it now, they don't usually enjoy reminiscing. Okay, she is using these all things, her past thoughts. She is describing her past thoughts in this poem, but she is saying like she doesn't like this thing. Okay, uh, and then they are not one to spend time engaged in nostalgia, wishing they were reliving the past. Okay, they, we are using here they, in this explanation. So it is indicating the speaker and the lover, the person whom she is recalling. Uh, and then the speaker goes on remembering how this person, which described in this stanza, is the perfect girl, with the speakers was the speakers for a time, or for a time, just for a time. Okay, how that thing, that person was for her just for a while, just for a short period of time. The repetition here indicates that there is still some emotion attached to the relationship. Okay, and we can see the emotion from the repetition of these words for 3 times. Okay, uh, one thing she's saying, she doesn't want to spend much time on the past, but again, we can see the emotions, her, her emotions are attached with that memory. Okay, so emotions attached to the relationship, but at the same time, the speaker has certainly accepted that it's in the past. And then, even though they aren't overly emotional about the relationship being over, that they still like thinking about how lovely this person was. They were a precious pearl, and the speaker loved to see you shine. Okay, whatever the person, whoever the person was, but it was someone precious for the speaker, and the speaker wanted like to see her or see him shine. Okay, and then okay, so the key information, the central idea, and the central message. Okay, it can be okay. You can describe it in your own words as well. So it can be like you can remember the past without dwelling on it. This we have known from the two different ideas from the speaker. At one hand, she is recalling her past, but on the other hand, she is saying that she doesn't like that thing. Okay, and then a speaker, we are not sure about the speaker, as we were in the very first poem, Still I Rise. So we were sure, like Maya Angelou herself was the speaker of that poem. But here we are certainly not, we are not sure about it, like, she is the speaker of this poem. Then is poetic form, it's Quentin. Quentin, you can see here the poem. This is, the poems are, okay, poetic form from here. Okay. This is the quintain, the poetic form composed of 5 lines in a single stanza. That is quintain. Okay, and they can follow the different rhyming schemes. And the rhyming scheme of this poem we have already described here. And the themes can be love, relationship, and then okay, can you tell me what other themes do you think that we can think of, like from this poem? Can you give me other themes after reading this?
I just had to say that during half the reading, I got called on the phone by my teacher, so I couldn't listen to the most of it.
Yes, I didn't understand you. What did you say?
When you were reading the poem,
Mm.
I got called aside, so I couldn't hear half the thing.
Okay, so how much have you heard?
Only like the first few lines.
The first line? Which first
Yeah.
line? Which first line? At the very beginning?
Yeah.
And what about else?
No.
Nothing?
Yeah.
So how can you describe it now? But you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me that you were not listening to me.
No, because I had to leave the room, so I forgot to say.
Okay. But again, if you are, again, if you are doing this thing, so you have to inform me. You don't have to leave. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Because now when I'm asking, so you cannot answer me right now.
Okay.
Okay. So emotions evoked and a semantic field of the emotions. These are the emotions are the things which we can see from here, and then is the time period. Okay. So this was all about your this poem, and we are going to cover next poem in our next lecture. Okay. So that's it for today.